So the Supreme Court will review if states may ban transgender students from playing in girls' and women's sports. West Virginia and Idaho, together with attorneys from Alliance Defending Freedom, asked the High Court to review their cases. West Virginia Governor Patrick Morrisey is applauding the move.
We were very concerned about the fairness. We're concerned about the displacement. We're very happy that the Supreme Court is going to hear this case. It's long overdue. And I want to commend all the people in West Virginia and across the country that have been working on this case to make sure we can get a good decision about this West Virginia law.
Here to discuss is former NCAA athlete Lainey Armistead and the CEO of Alliance Defending Freedom, Kristen Waggoner. Thank you both for joining this morning, and thank you for taking part in this fight. It's a vitally important one. I want to start with you, Lainey, real quick. So you were a soccer player. Describe for us how important soccer was for you and how much of your life revolved around competing at an elite level in soccer.
Absolutely. Soccer has been my entire life. I started playing whenever I could just barely walk. And my dad was a soccer player and a soccer coach. And one way or another, he was getting me on the soccer field. And I spent countless hours. I dedicated, I sacrificed, I missed school dances, I missed spring breaks. And having the opportunity to compete on the collegiate level was so important to me, a lifelong dream. And I'm so happy that I was able to do so.
So, Kristen, obviously for a lot of people, they look at this and they're like, why is this even a question? How important is it that you all are getting this case before the Supreme Court?
It's critical. We at Alliance Defending Freedom began work on this over 10 years ago, and it's taken that long to get the issue up. The issue before the court is whether states can pass laws that ensure women have equal opportunities in sport. And we can ignore the truth, but we cannot ignore the consequences. We have heard stories across this nation, and even UN reports now, where over 900 medals have been lost by women, with men competing in their sports. I also think we need to look at West Virginia alone. Half the states now have these laws. In this particular case before the court, the boy that's involved has displaced over 280 girls over 700 times in just a few years.
So, Lainey, it sounds like you have a brother, so you have sort of at least played around in sports with males. What is the difference between competing against your fellow female athletes at a place like West Virginia versus competing against males?
There are many differences, and I can tell you firsthand, and if you have ever watched a collegiate soccer game or really any women's soccer game, it gets rough out there, and women and girls are not consenting to being outran by a male. They're not consenting to being outpaced by a male, and they're certainly not consenting to being bulldozed by males.
Well, you're a brave young woman, and you're a great spokesman for this effort. And I'm very grateful to you. Real quickly, Kristen, can you tell us how do you feel about this case?
I'm optimistic because, as you already said, common sense is on our side, as is biological reality. The science confirms this, that there are big differences between men and women, and the law is right to recognize them.
Lainey Armistead and Kristen Waggoner, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.